being repaired, so he's using a new one. We'll see how he gets on. The expert on all things cues is Dominic Dale. Not ideal, Dom, but he's happy to be here because he's supposed to come in Group 7, so he's been called up because there's been a few withdrawals.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't think Matt Selt would take his place in this group unless he was entirely happy with the cue that he's using. Yes, his other cue was actually made in Thailand by a company called Maximus Cues, and I guess it's they that are who are repairing it. Oh, what a lovely shot. Well, you could hear Matt Selt. It's a good shot because he could see that that was in before we could. Two Essex boys here. Stuart Bingham from Basildon. Matt Selt from Romford originally. This is something, though, that the top players do, Dave, don't they? That, you know, you can break off first shot of the day and they can stroke in a long one like that.
Well, meanwhile, Dominic, we were here yesterday because Ronnie O'Sullivan withdrew. I can tell you he's withdrawn from the Masters. Just been announced. Ronnie O'Sullivan has withdrawn from the Masters. Neil Robertson is going to replace him. He was 17th after the UK Championship, so that's a great shame. Well, firstly for Ronnie, if he feels he can't play in it. Secondly for the audience who were hoping to see him play John Higgins on Sunday. And thirdly for the tournament.
No.
But that news has just come through. Ronnie O'Sullivan, he's not playing in the Masters.
$17.
Well, of course, we'll focus on the action and Stuart Bingham. Well, there's no no prospect of him withdrawing from anything. He just is still, at the age of 48, the ultimate enthusiast. But he's had a bit of a frustrating season. I know he's felt he's been playing well.
22.
But just hasn't quite been getting the results. 4 last 16, including at the UK Championship. Remember, he was 5-1 up to Zhanganda there, lost 6-5. He was on a maximum at one point, was put off. So he feels something's coming,
23.
but obviously he wants it to come soon. He's 24 in the world ranking, so at the moment projected to be having to go to world qualifying to get to the Crucible.
Yes, and let's not forget, he's 48 years old now, Stuart. Of course, our world champion back in 2015. I was so impressed, though, with his performance against Ronnie O'Sullivan at last year's World Championships. No matter what Ronnie threw at him, Stuart would not be put off.
30.
Played that beautifully, because in potting the black, he can just nudge the red. Stuart is a great break builder, it has to be said. He's closing in actually on 600 career centuries. He's at 598 at the moment, with 9,147, so he's right at the top of the tree as regards break building.
38. $44. 45.
I have to say about Stuart, because I've played him many times, and of course we've all watched him over the years. He's a fantastic player. Amazed he's only just won 6 ranking events. Been in 11 finals, but of course he has won snooker's greatest prize, World Championships. That's always something that looks good on any CV.
I think the thing about that, you hear that said about various players, there's only been so many tournaments, haven't there? You know, if he'd won another 4 tournaments, someone else along the line would have won fewer, and then we'd be saying the same about then. The fact is, he's been world champion. I mean, that, you know, that goes a long way, doesn't it? That's what he'll be remembered for.
51.
Did the semis again last year, of course. Jack Jones beat him there. He's won quite a few other events as well, though. You know, he's won. He always went to those Asian PTCs in China. Would be prepared to travel. Not a lot of prize money, but that didn't bother him. Just wanted to play. And of course, he has won this back in 2015. That was the year he went on to win the World Championship.
58.
Couldn't get into the red, so has played for this red to the right centre. It's a tricky cutback, though. Yeah, beautifully
59.
potted, and has an angle this time on the black to go into them. And Stuart's as good as anybody in terms of having a look at the way the balls are configured, working out how to go into a pack of reds. Actually decided there they wouldn't split particularly well. So he's just playing for this lone red here, because
66.
if you can pot this with the addition of any colour, Rain will be safe.
67.
Selt will play on, I think. First frame. There's a couple of snookers needed.
Stuart Bingham, 74.
Matt Selt, world number 33. Of course, they're both Essex boys. These two, they know each other well. Now the other table, Jimmy Robertson and Jackson Page. Jimmy Robertson, and these are all blacks, aren't they? These reds and blacks. If that break is 80, which I think is what was called. Yeah, the score's updated, so well done. He's on a 147 so soon in the day.
Incredible, isn't it? My word. Now the standard of snooker has increased over the years.
Stuart Bingham, 24.
It's quite popular in fashion terms in the sort of 70s and 80s. Briefly.
Briefly, yeah, is the word there. Anyway, let's get on with frame two. Yeah, bottom line is Bingham looking good. I mean, he keeps himself ticking over all year, doesn't he? You know, and he'll play. I mean, in the days when there weren't many tournaments, he'd play pro-ams. He's got a very sort of regimented practice routine. But as I say, he's just looking for something this season. It hasn't quite happened for him. That was a big blow at the UK. I know he felt he was playing well enough to go a really long way there. Lost from 5-1 up to Zhang Anda.
As you said previously, Dave, Stuart Bingham absolutely loves snooker, loves to play in anything. Very, very rarely ever withdraws from a tournament. Has to be mortally ill to do so, you feel, with Stuart. He'll be aware, I'm sure, that he's closing in on 600 career century breaks, and I fully expect him to reach that mark here at this Group 4, the Bet Victor Championship Snooker League. Referee Marcel Eckert keeping an eagle eye on that cue ball. Is it only just past the pink?
is touching ball.
Selt's best performance this season, quarterfinals of the Xi'an Grand Prix. That was a ranking event in China in early season, a big one. Kyron Wilson won it. Ronnie O'Sullivan beat him in a decider, 5-4 in the quarters. Well, that's a nice pot to start the frame. He's one of those people, I say this in the nicest possible way, he always knows at a venue. You know, there's some players sort of slip in and out, and it's like they've never been there. Matt, he's very sociable, talk to anybody. I saw him earlier, he was playing darts actually when I went in the players' room this morning.
Six.
Just caught the pink half ball, as you could see there, but he hasn't finished too badly on this red to left corner. Given the way the pockets are playing, I'll be a little surprised to see him miss this.
Seven.
Oh, that's good from Matt Selt. Confidently played with the reverse side. Played for the pink there to leave an angle to go into the reds. That was a very confidently played shot from him. This has become a frame-winning opportunity. He'd love to be straight on this red to the left corner. It does still cut in though, but the cue ball will be running free a little. Can he control the cue ball? He just wants position on any colour. I think he's worried the cue ball cannon into the red to the right of the black that's near the top cushion there. I have no idea where the cue ball will land.
14.
Well, I think these pockets, I think we've said it all week, are on the slightly generous side. That wriggled in, didn't it? There's a lot of jaw involved, but anyway, now it's a great scoring chance for Matt Selt. He made his 200th career century this season.
22.
Yes, a very capable player, Matt Selt. He's a very, very hard match player. Puts everything into every match that he plays. Can be a little volatile on occasions. Currently ranked 33 in the world, but he has been as high as 20 back in 2016. And you'd be very hard on yourself if you couldn't score enough to win the frame from an opportunity such as this.
37. $38.
That defeat to Zizins, I think there was a bit of a sort of carryover from that, because he then failed to qualify for the World Open a few days later. Manasoin Fetnalaikal from Thailand beat him 5-2. Fetnalaikal has not had a lot of results at all as a pro, so it was a bit of an upset, that. But I think Selt was still sort of reeling from what happened in the Zizins match. And also, he had a bit of a backlash online, it's got to be said. I think a few people went a bit
46.
overboard, which is not unusual these days.
Whenever you suffer any damage to the cue that you're using and you have to change cues, you can bet your life that you'll be practicing hard with any secondary cue that you are forced to play with. So
50.
it could be that if Matt Selt has a decent run here, when he gets his original cue back, he won't want to actually go back to it, because he looks very comfortable with this one, Dave.
Well, you see sometimes, don't you, like Thomas in China, for example, long haul flight, and someone's cue doesn't turn up and they borrow someone else's and suddenly play great with it. You think, well, do you even want your cue to turn up?
59.
Table 2. A great talent here, Jackson Page. Now, of course, he was runner-up to Ali Carter in the ranking event version of the Championship League at the start of the season. Young Welshman, 23. Seems to have been around a long time for a 23-year-old. Well, he's 1-0 down to Jimmy Robertson, but with the chance here, the crucial thing here is he doesn't need that yellow. He needs to get on the last red, and Robertson will need a snooker. Oh, I think he snookered himself on it. Dear me. Just needed to land on it. Had a lot of space to get on it, so that's a twist.
66.
Nearly fluked it. Anyway, that frame's not done, but the yellow, I guess, is in his favour. Here, Matt Selt has frame ball here. 67 up, 67 on, but the pink should get him over the line. And it's been a very open match, this. Got him with a good red and has kept it going nicely.
73. 74.
Very tight grain piece of ash on the cue of Matt Selt. You can see the side grains very, very close together there.
Yeah,
very closely grained. I like cues personally like that, I have to say.
81.
They're often quite responsive. Ryan Day is a player who loves a cue with a similar shaft to that.
$86.
Well, he once made 23 centuries in this event, so he'd love to make one here, but needs a good pot to continue. Not to beat, but 86 will do nicely. So Stuart Bingham dominated the opener. Matt Selt has done so in the second, and we're all square at one each. A few new faces here in Group 4. we of course take a break for the Masters, and then we've got scheduled to come in the week after Judd Trump, Neil Robertson, Chat Lazowski, Noppen Senkam, and various others. So plenty of big names still to come. Of course, 3 names in the winners group. Hossein Vafai, Si Joey and Karen Wilson. 4 more to be decided.
Measure of Stuart's confidence that he was willing to try to roll that red in to play for the black, even though he knew he'd be leaving a chance of a possible red for Matt Selt, and he certainly has. Nothing simple though, for a choice of reds to this yellow pocket. I wasn't expecting Matt Selt to drill it in at that pace, but what a shot it was. Nicely on the blue with a chance to play for one of the reds next to the black.
Yeah, both in aggressive mood, aren't they? 74 break from Bingham frame 1, 86 from Selt frame 2. Page has levelled up with Robertson, 1 each on table 2.
If Matt could somehow take the cue ball around the other side of the table to play the black in the left-hand corner, that would be definitely advantageous. But he couldn't, so he's going to have to be very careful now with this positional cannon that he plays. It went wrong, but he still has a red to the left centre, fortunately for him.
14. Twenty-one. 22.
If the left-hand red of those 3 just above the black will pot into the right corner, then Matt Selt doesn't have a problem. He has to play a cannon into something. It could easily go wrong. Short of pace, but just about high enough to make this pot
29.
A makeable one. We'll be going into the reds, we'll be screwing off them probably for the black, but he may release the pink as well.
30. 37.
So it feels really like he's just carrying on from where he left off in frame 2 when he made that 86. Bingham will be watchful though, in case something goes wrong. Yep, eyes on the table. He also failed to qualify for the World Open. His match in Germany held over because he's in the top 32, but he lost 5-1 to Chris Totten, who's back on tour, Scottish pro from Q School.
43.
So it was a disappointing end to 2025, clearly. Big money event, they all are in China. He's trying to get back in the top 16 for the World Championship. Clearly that does not help losing in that tournament.
He's been on and off the tour a little bit, Chris Totten, but he's an experienced player. I was a little surprised with that result. Chris Totten did actually beat the
44.
legendary Jimmy White earlier in the season as well, so he's a capable player, all right. Well, he's on the pink, but he's just working out the best way to get onto his next red, because he may not have quite the angle that he wanted to have. Well, in the end, took the more difficult black and just tried to cannon the right-hand red of the two, just above the black there. But failed with the cannon. Now he's looking at a very speculative plant to the left centre. But he could still attempt it because he could screw back for the black and he wouldn't necessarily leave anything on.
Well, he's left this red to the same pocket.
One.
So, 51, but plenty still on.
Six.
Stuart just having a look to see how many pots, beg your pardon, how many reds are available. Those 5 next to the pink and the black.
Seven.
Could play for the loose red to the left of the pink spot, but has an angle to go into them as well if he wishes to.
12. 13. 20. 21.
If Stuart stuns down for the black, gets the right angle on it, won't be any problem at all to develop the two awkward reds above it.
28.
These are the frames that make differences psychologically in matches. We've had one where Bingham got in first, made a frame-winning break, then Selt. Well, it's not come great on this. I was going to say frames where you make clearances can make the difference, but
35.
not quite gone to plan here.
That was a poor positional shot from Stuart, because that type of cannon comes up all the time in practice, and he'll be very disappointed to have not played it well. And now that the black's gone back onto its spot, he'd be very hampered by the black in attempting the red next to the pink into the yellow pocket, so maybe deciding to play a safety shot in the end. A bit of a risk to take this red on. Oh, what a pot it was, though.
Superb. Really, really nicely executed. So all about landing on the next red and then favour for the frame.
He plays the green. He's just got to make sure the cue ball doesn't cannon into the yellow. He can avoid that. No reason why he can't get nicely on one of these reds.
$39. $40.
Too pacey for the black, which was his intended next colour. If he wants to get good position on this remaining red, he'd have to take on the blue, I feel. Key shot coming up. Oh, he's missed it. Matt Selt breathes again.
Stuart Bingham, 40.
Missed it by some distance, really, for him. For a play of his ability. Dramatic frame, then. 11 points in it. Selt still in front. Well, a little edgy now. Well, you thought he couldn't fail to land behind one of those three, but in fact, it could be a snooker behind the brown anyway.
If Matt can see it quarter ball, he can play the red into the yellow, Send the cue ball around the angles, back in behind blue, pink and black. And this is a shot you'd enjoy playing, actually. Because you've got a target to go for. That's so unlucky, isn't it?
Well, again, it seemed more likely he'd end up behind one of those than not. Important little exchange here in this third frame. Ooh, well, he's missed it altogether.
Collins. No, if you're set for. Yeah.
Asking the referee, Marcel Eckhart, to replace the cue ball.
Not 100% sure on that one. Oh. Couldn't see it. Could you see it still half before? Yeah, couldn't hear it.
Well, that's interesting. Both the referee and the player are in agreement here that Stuart could see this red full ball, which makes a difference. So if Stuart were to miss it for a second time, the warning would be issued to him that if he didn't hit it on the third attempt, frame would be awarded to Matt Selt.
Half that distance.
Yeah. Cheers.
Well, we saw what he thought of that. So, well, he's already missed this red to corner pocket, the other end of the table. Rather bemused look on Bingham's face. This is not a gimme by any means, this. Yeah, and there we are. And he's going to leave an easier one for Stuart Bingham. How the emotions can change so quickly. Bingham waving his arms around a moment ago, looking befuddled, and now a serious chance to win frame 3.
One.
Too much reaction there out of the cue ball. Maybe Stuart feels there's a bit of humidity in the atmosphere causing that to happen. Big misjudgment.
Four. Six. Nine.
Brown, blue and pink still required. To win a frame that could have gone to either player.
$13.
Blue and pink needed to win a dramatic frame. It could have gone either way a couple of times. Chances on both sides.
18.
But surely the pink is going to find its target. Matt Selt made the early running, didn't he? Made that 51. Went for that quite high risk plant to middle. Bingham
24.
testify that having walked it up from the hotel. But anyway, it's a brand new day of snooker, brand new group, of course. Selt will stay on either way to play Mark Selby next. Selby in such a high scoring form, of course, so far. In fact, we had 54 centuries in the 6 days we've had so far. So, I mean, that's 9 a day, isn't it? You know, that's plenty in such short matches.
It's the last thing that Matt Selt wanted to see, the red rebound from the jaws of the corner pocket. And into the pack of reds. One good pot and positional shot to the blue here for Stuart, and he'll be right in. But he's missed it. That's a much better pot from Matt Selt. Now, can he run through for a red either into the left centre? Well, that red just to the left of the black into the left corner. Just let you know that on table 2, Jimmy Robertson has re-established his lead over Jackson Page. 2-1 ahead now. And just stolen that previous frame on the pink. All our matches on table 2, of course, available for you on our Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel.
6.
Sigh from Matt Selt. He's overrun for the red. He's on nothing.
Yeah, that's annoying because it was a great initial red, but he knocked in from distance. Was Matt Selt is a ranking event winner. He won the last staging of the Indian Open back in 2019. Beat John Higgins amongst others along the way. Was runner-up in the Turkish Masters in 2022 to Judd Trump. In fact, neither event's been held since. I'm not blaming Matt for that, by the way, but it's a bit of a shame. We have gone to various parts of the world, haven't we, over the years, and kind of not returned.
Stuart felt that potting that red and cannoning the one next to it would guarantee him position on the pink to the left centre. I just wonder whether he's on it.
Green ball.
Is this going to reach? Oh yes, easily. Goodness gracious, this cloth is so fast. Almost looked to be travelling faster when it reached the green than it did halfway up the table. Whenever you're playing a match with a brand new cue, that's the type of shot that can cause a problem when you're playing with heavy side spin around the angles. And he made a pretty good job of that, Selt. He's just a little unlucky this red has come up far enough to be cuttable, perhaps.
One.
Well, just caught that knuckle, and that's gone wrong.
Stuart Bingham, 3.
Just to reiterate, the two players who are coming back from the previous group, not everybody took up that option, but Mark Selby, who has made 7 centuries in the first group that he was in, and Jack Jones. I mean, it wouldn't be the same without Jack, would it? He's been in every final so far, played 24 matches. He's going to play at least another 6 over the next 2 days.
Foul. Stuart Bingham, 4.
Now this red is going to be in bulk, so that is not good for Selt.
That's the worst possible result, that for Selt.
Foul. Stuart Bingham, 4.
It wasn't very close to the red.
One.
Stuart Bingham would love to be able to play for the red that's just above the black spot. You can get that one out the way, then he could attack the black.
Six. Seven. Thirteen. 14.
Played a stun run through there, but there was too much stun and not quite enough run through.
20. Top. 21.
So, building up a useful lead
27.
in the frame. He needs to take the first point from this group. Jimmy Robertson in a similar position on table 2. He's 47-0 over Jackson Page, 2-1. Yeah, Jimmy, another player who's been called up a little earlier than planned.
28.
Oh, just we've jinxed, haven't we? Just as we go over, he misses, and he's also opened everything up. So that's a much more open frame now, with Page, of course, needing the balls out in play, 47 behind. That noise in the background, don't worry, nobody's smashed up a cue or anything. Jackson Page just dropped the rest inadvertently as he was putting it back on its moorings.
One.
Well, you could scarcely have played that any better, Stuart. He's just the right side of the blue. I'm just wondering, though, if either the two reds closest to the black spot are available. Certainly a couple below it are, though. And that's very nice. Stuart has a chance here in potting one of these reds, just to nudge into the two reds by the black spot. That will clear a path for the black once it's respotted.
Yeah, so not much more to do. A couple of pots and it should be Bingham's point. Selt had a couple of half centuries in this match. That 51 in the last, though, wasn't a frame-winning break. Just a little glance at the scores, and Stuart Bingham knows he needs this red
55.
to secure the first point in Group 4 of the Bet Victor Championship League. A decade on from when he won it and then did the double by winning the World Championship.
56.
He was runner-up 3 years ago now, 2022, to John Higgins. Lost 3-2 in the overall final to Higgins. We always knew Stuart Bingham would be here for this, and Matt Selt knew that he would be, of course, up for it, as he is every match he plays. And that third frame certainly felt the important one overall. That stays out, so, well, 65 in it, 51 on. It's a long way back from here. But it looks like Selt is going to come back.
But if you can't plant one red onto the other, the concession will arrive, I'm sure.
One. Eight. 9.
Chance now to send the red into bolt, screw the cue ball tight in behind the black. Oh, that's no good. I think it'll even be a snooker.
Yeah, and he's seen the writing on the wall, or more realistically, the scoreboard.